We're going to talk about proper tree planting, and we have a very nice willow tree here that we're going to put right in front of our office, and I just want to go through the steps, some basic steps on how to properly plant a tree. First, when we get our tree stock, we want to take a close look at it and take some measurements. We want to see how wide our plant root base is. And that's easily measured. Just as a reference, you can use the handle of your shovel. I can take a quick measurement here. It's about that wide. And then when we measure and dig the hole, we want to make sure that our hole is 2 to 3 times as large as the plant stock is wide. So I can go ahead and take a quick measure of this pre-dug hole here and just make sure that the width of my hole is 2 to 3 times the width of my planting stock. And it currently is. The second measurement that I need to take on my plant is how deep to set the planting hole. That is defined by the root flare, or the transitional tissue of the plant going from stem to root. I hope everybody can see that. So I just peeled back, and sometimes it's a little buried. So we want to make sure that we take our planting stock and peel back the soil around the stem until we see a well-defined root flare, or the transitional tissue between stem and root. And that defines where we want to make sure that after we're done planting, that this root flare is located at or slightly above grade. So identifying that, again, I can go ahead and use my shovel and just make sure that I'm setting proper planting depth. Root flare is located just about where the bucket begins, and I can just double check and make sure that the hole that I've planted here is also in line with the depth, and it appears to be. So now I'm ready to put my tree into the ground. Once you get your tree out of the bucket or burlap or whatever container that it came in, you'll probably notice that there's some encircling roots here. We want to do everything we can to try to reduce the encircling nature of these, because if you just put it into the ground like this, these roots are going to keep circling, and they're not going to be able to spread out radially and get into the nutrients in the soil in the surrounding area. You can do that pretty quickly and easily if you have a gardening knife or a pocket knife, and go ahead and make vertical slits on the planting base. Okay. And just take a quick second look at this. You can start to tease some of these out, and you can see now that these roots are going to, as they continue to grow out radially away from the planting hole and not just staying inside the planting hole and encircling. Place the tree in the center of the hole that you just dug. Now's the time to make sure that the tree is straight, right? You're going to make sure that the tree is straight, and straight from several different angles. So we'll just go ahead and adjust it. Look straight from this angle. Check it out from another angle. Looks great from this angle. And now you can begin to backfill. When you backfill, you want to make sure that you're filling it firmly, but you're not compacting the soil along the way. Okay, I went ahead and backfilled up to the original volume of the hole, and now's the time just to quickly double check, is that root flare still at or above grade? It certainly is. So I'm ready to proceed. Tree still straight from multiple angles. Looks good. Now I can go ahead and add a little mulch to the top. I'm going to top dress this with mulch about 2 to 3 inches, covering up that planting hole. And the last thing I want to do with my mulch before I'm done is to make sure that I pull any excess mulch away from the base of the tree. You should see bare mineral soil where the tree intersects the ground. We don't want mulch touching the stem because mulch does not provide any benefit to the stem. It only provides benefit to the root system. Excellent. Before we're all done, we want to make sure that we remove any tags or any foreign objects from the tree. A lot of these tags have great after planting care instructions, so do save them and make sure that you follow them accordingly. And the last thing we want to make sure that we do is just give our plant a good healthy start by providing it some water. There you have it. It's as simple as that.